So question number 15. So this question explains some initial information about a large spacecraft. So largest spacecraft is made up of several stages. Each stage consists of a rocket motor and a fuel tank. So once a stage has used all its fuel, the rocket motor in that stage shuts down. The stage then disconnects from the spacecraft and falls back to Earth. So beautiful schematic sketch representation is also given. As the rocket is rising due to the upward force of the first stage, an astronaut feels himself pushed further and further back, compressing the back of his seat. When the first stage shuts down, the astronaut is suddenly projected forwards by the seat. The astronaut is held in place by safety strap. Explain the effects experienced by the astronaut. You may assume that the force provided by the first stage rocket motor is constant until the moment it shuts down. Okay. So this is actually what kind of question it is. You can see one asterisk here. It means that the student assesses a student's ability to show a coherent and logically structured answer with the linkages and fully sustained reasoning. So whatever be the points that we are writing here to explain this or to support this, that we should arrange in a logical manner, and it should reason. It should be a reasonable statement. Okay. So what is our question? Here you can see a rocket is rising during the first stage. You can see the fuel is burning. As a result, this is going upwards. So here the question, you see the focus of this. As the rocket is rising due to the upward force of the first stage, an astronaut feels himself pushed further and further back, compressing the back of his seat. So explain the effects experienced by the astronaut. Okay. So how will you logically and arrange? We need the indicative content. So at least 6 indicative contents are required because it's a 6 marks question. So how will you start? How will you start this? So we can say that because it is given in our question that when the rocket is moving up, it is moving at constant. Assume that the force provided by the first stage rocket motor is constant until the moment it shut down, right? So based on that, we will be arranging the points. So how we will arrange? We can say when the spacecraft is accelerating, the astronaut accelerates at the same rate. So here the spacecraft is moving up. As a result, what happens? The seat is actually applying a forward force to the astronaut. So that is why the astronaut is accelerating upwards. So here we need to address which reason. Astronaut feels himself pushed further and further back. So why further back? According to Newton's third law, every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So that is the next point we will be adding. The seat is applying a forward force to the astronaut. So by Newton's third law, the astronaut is applying a backward force to the seat, which compress the seat. Then what happens? At one stage it occurs. So when the stage number 1 is going to over, as a result, or why stage number 1 is going to over? Because the fuel that is kept for ignition, that is being completely used. Or in other words, we can say, as the fuel is used up, the mass of the spacecraft decreases. So what is the advantage? When the mass is decreased, force is equal to mass times acceleration, correct? So when mass decreases, what happens is automatically the acceleration increases because it is now less heavy. So as a result, its acceleration again increases. So what happens now? The force between the seat and the astronaut increases. As a result, by the Newton's third law, further compression happens. Now, at one stage, what happens is the force becomes zero when it is detached. At that moment, what happens? At that instant, whatever be the compressive force that is applicable or available on the seat, now it is decompressed. It is decompressed, and as a result, that will help to push the astronaut forward. So if he is not fastened his belt, is not fastened his belt, what happens? That will definitely cause harm for this astronaut, right? So due to this decompression, that will affect or that will give a force to the astronaut. So that means the seat decompresses when the force from the rocket motor is removed. But though the force is available for astronaut due to the decompression, the force from the safety strap decelerates the astronaut. So these are the effects that is happening due to this process. So we'll document this. So we have written two indicative contents. Now the third point we can express is as the fuel is used up, the mass of the spacecraft decreases. As the mass of spacecraft decreases, the acceleration increases. So due to this acceleration, what happens? Obviously, the force between the seat and the astronaut increases, thus further compressing the seat. Now, when the force from the rocket, becomes zero, at the end of stage one. When the force from the rocket becomes zero, seat decompresses and thus astronaut got push forward. So how many indicative contents? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 valid points are really required to explain this. So that's all about this test.